Hello folks, welcome back. So last week we had our price points at this candle. This is the dollar index, DXY. Type DXY on your trading view and you see this. So last week we had this candle and I pointed your attention to these relative equal highs that we have here, and I told you that I'd love to see price gravitate towards these equal highs and trade down to this main threshold of this bearish order block. And we see how price delivered perfectly, just one pip below this main threshold of the other block. So however it is, price delivered the way we analyzed last week. Moving forward this week, I've been getting some questions and some folks asking me, what is your bias for this week for DXY? I do not have a bias this very week. Why? Because we just delivered our objective, and I would love price to give me a tip of its hand to know what exactly it's going to do next. And this would require maybe Monday, Tuesday trading for me to know what would be our bias for the week. You might not always get to know your bias, but in such cases you just stay out, be on the sidelines until the market show you the tip of its hand for you to know what next to do. But we've delivered to the main threshold of our other block. So what I would like to see next on the weekly candle is, I am neutral at this point, but if we're going to be bearish, I'd love to see price gravitate back to this fair value gap. We have candles 1, candles 2, candles 3. Between these 3 candles we have a gap between the high of candle 1 and the low of candle 3. So this is a gap, and that's what we call fair value gap. I just want to quickly highlight this out and right there. I'd like to keep the weekly color right. Yes, so this is a fair value gap, a weekly fair value gap. So if we are to have price come back down, we'll be targeting this, and how we trade to and through it matters a lot. We're going to talk about that for the upcoming weeks. But if we are to go above this, then I would expect to show you what I'll see on the daily time frame. Let me go back to the weekly time frame. If we are to trade above this, then I would expect to see price gravitate above this and continue going higher, and then we might be having bullish dollar and bearish scenario for all other currencies. But for now, I'm neutral on the weekly time frame for dollar index. So daily time frame for dollar index. Last week I also mentioned that we are going to treat this as inversion fair value gap. If you've not seen that video, you should go back and watch it, which means this will be acting as real support to gravitate towards these equal highs. We've taken out these equal highs, and we're just very close to the main threshold of this weekly order block. So if we're going to go above this, I would expect us to take out this high, and I would stay neutral. Once we're above this high, I won't do anything until I see what price is going to do for me to get more information on whether we're going to be bearish or we're going to be bullish. But for now, I repeat, I am neutral on dollar. We'll be going to the euro dollar. As you all know, I use the forex.com server. So we'll start with the weekly time frame. So over the past few weeks, as you already know, we're targeting this volume imbalance. Let me quickly pull this off. We're targeting this volume imbalance right here, and we delivered perfectly. So moving forward, since we delivered to the volume imbalance, as you all know, I've stated this over and over again, we are gravitating downwards towards the next PD array of the weekly time frame. Now, last week, if you watched our analysis last week, we mentioned that price was here last week. So I mentioned that we're going to take out this low, and then we're going to likely gravitate towards these equal lows and trade into this fair value gap for the weekly time frame, and we were just 1 pip away from it. So we can say price delivered perfectly. Now, moving forward this week, I will still love, gun to my head, I'll still love to see price maybe open, trade above a little, and then gravitate down towards this weekly fair value gap after taking out these lows. And until that happens, I'm still bearish on euro dollar for the weekly time frame, and this would only happen if we see higher prices for dollar. So it really matters a lot what we see in dollar index that would determine if this will play out or not. But I would love to see price come down to this fair value gap. Fair value gap is candles 1, candles 2, candles 3. So you can mark this and extend it towards the right. We'll go to the daily time frame for the dollar, for euro dollar. Now for the daily time frame, this is the weekly volume imbalance transposed to the daily time frame, and then we have a fair value gap for the daily time frame. We traded below it. Remember, I said whenever we trade below a fair value gap, we are likely going to see it act as resistance once we trade below it, and that's what we saw here. Thursday last week, we acted as resistance, and then there's another fair value gap here. It was not respected. It was respected for a while, and then we came down, and now we've traded up below it this week on Wednesday. So now what should we expect? What should we expect? We've traded below this fair value gap on the daily time frame, and now I'm seeing this as an inversion fair value gap, IFVG, daily time frame. So on Thursday we saw price trading up to it, and then quickly gravitating with speed from it. Now it won't be out of place for me to see price go back in here, act as resistance from this inversion fair value gap on the daily time frame, and then trade back down into our original target, which is the fair value gap in the weekly time frame. So for euro dollar, I want to see price gravitate towards the downside. I would likely be bearish, but this would be more accurate when we see bullish prices on dollar index, which of course for now I do not have a bias. So GBPUSD, okay, we are going to start with the weekly time frame top down analysis. This is the main threshold. This is the order block, bearish order block that we hit some weeks ago. I'll extend this so that you see here the main threshold of this order block was where we hit weeks ago. And now for the weekly time frame, I would love to see, last week I mentioned that I would love to see price, we're here last week, I said I would love to see price take out this low and these lows, and then ultimately down to this let me extend this to the right too, ultimately down to the consequent encroachment of the week, this long week. Now we saw price coming down just very very little below this candle. We had this move just slightly below this candle, so we've still not hit the target yet. Only this will be met if we are bullish on dollar index. We'll go back down to the daily time frame, and now for the daily time frame, again, this is the other block in the weekly time frame. We came down and we've been gravitated towards the downside. Here we've created a sell side here, a low here, and then relative equal lows here. I didn't want to mark this out to make the chart look clean. We have relative equal lows here, and whenever we see this in price, we are likely going to see some form of sell side being purged. We are going to likely see a draw on liquidity to take out this sell side. This is to induce buyers that the price wants to go up. Retail buyers, they'll feel this is double bottom, but it's just to induce price. We're going to rip this through, take out the sell side, and then ultimately I'd like to see price trade down to this week of the consequent encroachment of the weekly candle for GBPUSD. So this is what I'd love to see price do for this week. So what should you do with this information? You should look for more trades going towards the directions I outlined on the weekly time frame as targets. And if you're not so sure about what price is going to do, you just better stay off price until you see what you really want to see in price before taking trades. And I hope you find this insightful. If you have not done so already, you might want to like, comment, and subscribe to this video because it encourages me to do more videos like this. And until I talk to you next time, I wish you good luck and be safe.